Alright, so we got a Honda Accord LX 2013, and we got the big 3 upgrade with the wiring. I couldn't really find anything online on how to do it with my car specifically, and my car has a harness coming from the starter, or not the starter, the alternator, and going all the way to the battery right here. So you actually can't take it off. You have to add wire on top of the wire that's right here. When I was originally going to do it, I thought that you would have to remove the whole harness and just feed your own wire, but that's not how you do it at all. So I'm just going to show you guys how I ended up going about it, so you can copy me if you'd like to. Here's all the tools I used right here. The terminals, some heat shielding for the wire, 0 gauge oxygen free copper wire. This is to smash down these terminals right here, because the 0 gauge I think you call them terminals. The 0 gauge terminals are pretty dang strong, and you really need something hard like this to smack it down with. Also with the 0 gauge wire, you need something pretty strong to cut it. That's why I got these bolt cutters right here. Yeah, these are copper lugs. That's what they're called. I was able to get all this stuff on Amazon. Oh yeah, one thing as well. An inline A&L fuse holder and fuse, which most fuse holders come with a fuse and an extra, as you can see, is in there. So your goal with the big 3 is not only to upgrade the wiring, but to improve the grounding, because the grounding on this car kind of sucks, to be honest, with the original ground cable. The original ground cable you'll find over here on the left side. You can see it right here, this little wire on the engine mount, and it goes back to right there. You can kind of see it right there. But I tested the ground with the multimeter, and with the ohms I was getting 0.7, which isn't very great. What you want is 0.0. So I even tried sanding it down from here and from that point. Tested it again, same thing. So adding your own ground is very useful, mostly in this car. So where I got the ground connected is right here behind this. I think it's where the exhaust goes out of, I believe. Yeah, I just took off the bolt, sanded back here, added that in there, put the bolt on, ran it all the way through from the bottom down to this bolt right here. Also centered it down, as you can see. I'm gonna paint this in a minute so it doesn't rust. And that is for the engine block ground. Now there's another ground for the battery cable, and I didn't really need any heat shielding around this, but you can see 0 gauge right there going to this bolt right under it, as you can see. And I also did the same thing, sanded it down, bare metal, cleaned it. And when I started with this one, this was actually a 0.4 on the resistance. Once I cleaned it and did that, it was straight 0, so a perfect ground. So at the very least, you can do that one. All right, so now that the ground is done, you want to actually test it and make sure that your ground is improved from where you started off at. So like I said, when I tested it, the ground was anywhere between 0.4 or 0.7, which isn't great, but it's not terrible. But what we want is straight zeros. So to test that, we get the negative, put it on the negative terminal, switch this over to ohms, which is the horseshoe looking label. Okay, and now we're gonna put it on the engine block on the cleanest spot that you can find, or you can put it on the actual connector itself, and you'll see the resistance. So right here, I'm just gonna put it right here on the engine block. You can see it reads 0. Perfect. It's exactly what you want. So perfect grounds are done, as you can see. Like I said from the beginning, 1, 2, 1, 2. That bolt, you're gonna have to find a bolt that fits there. That bolt I got from a TV mount that I saved the bolts from. This SCAR fuse, the bolt that I'm using to hold this down is actually the bolt that comes from this reservoir. It has two of them that holds it down. So I just took one off and threw it right there on the fuse. So now that we're done with the grounds, let's go to the alternator. So on the alternator, this connector that I used, the copper lug was too big for this piece of plastic that goes on there. So I ended up cutting into the plastic and breaking the pieces off so I can aim the lug where I needed to. And right here's the factory one, which is laying on top of the one we added. Make sure it's laying on top of it. You want your big wire to get the best connection possible. So make sure you lay it on top, like I said. And I was able to just cut a little slit into this boot so it could fit back on. So it looks pretty decent. So the way I ran it through here, above the reservoir, under this, as you can see, to the fuse, the inline A&L fuse right now. This alternator only runs a 120 amp fuse, I believe, 110 or 120. The one in here is a 250, which is the smallest one that came with this one. Eventually I'm gonna upgrade this to a 300 amp, so for now I'll just keep the 250 in there. As you can see, got the fuse in there, covered. I'm thinking about maybe doing some kind of waterproofing since it's kind of close to the edge right here. But as for now, it's gonna be okay. I never see any kind of moisture right here anyways. But on the other side from the fuse, I ran it down past the other factory ground right here, through the back of the engine, next to the fuse box, goes under the intake, and then on to the terminals. And as you can see, we've got, I believe this is the, okay, yeah. This is the starter. This is the fuse. The fuse box. This is for the aftermarket fog lights that I added. This is for the alternator. And then these are just for subwoofers, which is why I need to do the big three in the first place. So literally everything I used here, these tools, except for this, but everything I used here I was able to get on Amazon. Total, including multimeter, everything less than 250. For sure less than 250, probably less than 200. But yeah, it's working great. My lights aren't flashing as much anymore when the bass hits. All the connections are working great. As you saw, the ground is perfect zeros, so zero resistance, as clean as possible. You're gonna want to add the heat shielding for sure, because this engine's gonna get hot. But yeah, so this is just how I went about doing everything. I didn't see anybody else post anything about this this specific car or how they went about it, so here you go. And just a couple little things. Online I'm seeing a lot on fuses, mostly SCAR fuses. They're not the greatest. They actually kind of have like a little bit of resistance to them. They don't fully let voltage pass through cleanly. So I would recommend replacing the fuse that comes with it with a higher quality fuse. And also this heat shielding I used, just so you know, in total I only used about 9.8 feet. So I didn't even end up using the whole 10 feet, as you can see. There's this little piece and one more little piece that I got. And also, as far as I can tell, you can't replace this terminal. This is a new terminal that I got, but you can't change the style. It has to be this kind with the little sensors and all that. So when you're gonna do the big three, you just remove this wire and add the zero gauge to this. You can't really replace that. That's why you only see a new terminal right here, but not one right here. Yeah, so I hope that helps. Anybody else trying to figure out how to do it, you don't need to remove the entire harness. You don't need to remove anything. All you do is add on to what's already there. So hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it was helpful.